Okay, dear venerable brother, friends, we are going to start the second question and answer session. So Sharini is ready with the written reports and questions. So we'll start with the written reports.
Avasara Bhante, there are 12 reports in total.
Right.
Report number 1, Thero Saranai, mindful Sakman. Sakman occurs normally and spontaneously. Thoughts come and passes away as if by chance. My mind becomes very silent and free from thoughts. External vibrations in the environment and vibrations inside the body are constantly felt to be in harmony. At the end of the Sakmana, there is a heaviness in the head but lightness in the body. Mindful sitting. After 2 or 3 breaths, the body became lighter, feels the slight sweat in the body, unnoticeable warmth felt through the body. Mind becomes calm and free. Thoughts come, but there is no recognition of sinking into them. Only awareness is there. Can feel some particles moving throughout the body. Particles. Moving throughout the body, feeling of nature of elements. At once the upper body was lifted up, become straight, head up, and experience some current waves flows from bottom to top. Experience the pleasant feeling of energy realizing from the body. The surrounding is full of light. Body is without boundaries. It is just like a cloud. The surrounding and body became one. Only awareness is there. There was a feeling that mind is looking at this from a faraway place. Mind felt that it had no place or place to land. Experienced a very calm and relaxed feeling for a while. Not sure how long this has been going on. After a while, the mind is filled with thoughts. Feels the body weight gain little by little, cell to cell. Feels the breath slowly. The body was calmed down. The body was wetting gently. The 2 cycles of this process was... Sorry, Bhante. The 2 cycles of this process was experienced during the sitting session. Was aware what had happened during the meditation period. There was a feeling of happiness. It was just a state of awareness only. When engaged in daily activities, the mind is often aware of the work being done. Thoughts come and go. Emptiness in the mind, no worries. Enjoy the freedom of being self, keeping Satara Satipatthana as benchmark. May it be shared with you, Bhante.
Seems good. May I know who has written it? Yes? Okay, can you come forward just for a chat? So is this something new experience, or are you now consistently experiencing the same thing for a long time?
Yes, for a long time.
For a long time. So now in general, is your mind fairly quiet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you remember recent time that you get angry?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. So how long, if in case you get angry, how long it stays in your mind?
Just a minute or something like. Just a minute.
Just a minute?
No, okay. Not 30 minutes.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, just a minute. Okay. At any given occasion, can you keep yourself calm, quiet, and you can quickly keep aside all the thoughts and very quickly you can make the mind quiet?
Yeah.
I am asking without going for any kind of meditation.
Yeah.
Okay. Now in during daily activities, assume that something happened and you get little frustrated, agitated, or something has happened, but you can quickly calm yourself down. Again, take your mind back to the say calmness or the quietude.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, good. Now we can do a kind of a change of the perspective. Now, say for example, at the beginning, so I am meditating. So this is the perspective we are having. Okay, I need to meditate, I need to practice. So I am practicing Vipassana, I am practicing Samatha. So this is the kind of an approach that we might have. But now you can simply dwell in this emptiness, simply dwell in this calmness, relaxation, and while being there, you can recognize when I is made. So you got the point, right? So now you simply allow the mind to just be. So you are not doing anything as such. You just allow the mind to just be, and while being in that sort of a freedom, now time to time there is a possibility that again thoughts might arise, again a kind of a self-view might happen, a sense of I might happen. So those are the occasions now we need to really trace, really notice. So in a way, now there is no self as such. There is no very solid, strong self. While being in that non-self, while being in that very soft awareness, so can we recognize, okay, where again the I is made? I making, mind making, some sort of a comparison. When is it happening? And now the kind of the practice has shifted to a different direction. Previously I am the one doing, but now where again this sense of I being generated? So likewise, you can simply dwell in emptiness. You can simply experience the emptiness, enjoy it. That just maintain that inner silence. And while being there, when that again the sense of I is arising. So that is where we can change kind of the perspective, and that is where we need to move forward. Yeah. So I think you are doing well, and you can just continue as it is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And even in the walking, you have mentioned that you felt some heaviness on your head. So don't introduce an object, by the way. Now, typically we advise, okay, you need to pay attention to the sensation and you need to establish mindfulness. But at this level, there is no need to establish mindfulness. Rather, the mindfulness is available. It's very much like a available, accessible, kind of an effortless type of mindfulness, and it is there already, and you don't need to specifically do anything to establish mindfulness. So just walk in a relaxed manner, and same thing, while simply walking, just be aware, and you have that soft awareness, kind of a calmness, tranquility, the clarity of the mind. And again, while walking also, you can see there is sense of I again generating, something like that. Okay.
Question number 2, sitting meditation, primary object in-breath, in and out. Today I could focus more on the breath than yesterday. Before Bhante started the session, I did sitting meditation outside the hall. I could hear the noises, but I could let them go. After a few minutes, I could see yellow color bright lights. When I closed the eyes and focused on the breath, tiny bubbles 2 or 3, and later black color appeared within bright yellow lights. As I heard these experiences from other yogis, I tried to focus on breath, not the colors. After finishing, while I was coming to the hall, I could concentrate more. After Bhante started the session again, I could see bright blue color with few shapes. After focusing, my thoughts went to my childhood. Today the pain in the head turned to a pressure or elastic sensation. Pain in neck also lesser than yesterday. I could feel pain in my left shoulder only.
It seems like you are capable of now looking at the pain, as a mere feeling. If you can patiently look at it, no harm. Basically, I feel that you have that capacity. Just look at it, just observe it and see its nature, how it is changing or appearing and disappearing. All that, if you are able to patiently look at it properly, then you can make use of that as well. So I hope there are no any other issues. Anyone who wrote it? You have any, you got the point and you can continue as it is? Okay, fine.
Question number 3, Venerable Bhante, sitting meditation. I sat down, closed eyes and observed body sensation. I felt the breath near the nostril. Pain of few areas of the body. Pain was increased and decreased. I totally didn't feel some areas of the body. When a fly touched the face, I had a sanya, it's a fly. But the second time it's touching the face, I had only an idea it's touching. It's similar when mind touching my face, wind touching my face, and fly touching my face. My body was moving automatically. Thoughts appeared. When start the thought I didn't notice. The middle of the thought I noticed it as a thought. At that time I felt relaxed.
So various sensations are there. At first you are able to distinctly recognize certain differences, but as far as I can understand through the report, so later they have become kind of mere sensations. You are unable to sort of recognize much difference. They are mere sensations. It's not a bad thing, because at first there are demarcations, various signs, marks indicating certain differences. But as we progress, so they turn into a kind of mere experience, mere feeling, mere sensation. And say, for example, if you are practicing Vedananupassana, say at first there are pleasurable feelings, at first there may be painful feelings, equanimous feelings. So we can even categorize them. But later these categorization become very difficult, and you can't label them as, okay, pleasant, painful, equanimous. Rather, there are mere feelings, something like that. So it seems like you are moving in that direction, no harm.
Same report. Then thoughts came one after the other. My body suddenly vibrated and identified it. My attention moved to thoughts, some sanya as pictures and pain quickly. Once time thoughts appeared with a gap. There is a clear view in front of me, and I was aware of the background sound as well. I feel I can stay more time with this experience. I get up from meditation when I feel lazy. Day-to-day activities.
One moment. So next time, even when you feel lazy, don't immediately get up. Just bear it for a moment, because it is necessary. As we already discussed even on yesterday, so our path is where we are coming to a kind of a more equanimous experience. And there may be instances that you may be experiencing kind of very pleasant, blissful type of experiences, but they are not often. But often we are moving forward into a more equanimous experience. So at that occasion, don't immediately get up. So just bear it for a moment and get familiar with that experience.
Day-to-day experience, in my day-to-day practice, from time to time, I am mindful.
Okay.
Question number 4, Theruvan Saranai. Most Venerable Bhante, thank you for guiding us so well into meditation this morning. This is my question. You spoke of having thoughts as our observation for meditation object in your introduction to meditation. Could you please explain that further?
No, that is where we come into the Chittanupassana, where at first, now say for example, we can't even observe breathing. Okay, breathing happens, we completely are not aware of that. But later, as we continue the Kayanupassana practice, then you have the capacity to recognize, okay, in-breath as in-breath, out-breath as out-breath. And there are also sometimes there are certain forceful breathing, and you miss the breathing. All these sort of difficulties might arise. Later, you recognize the balance, okay, there is in-breath, there is out-breath, and you don't need to interfere, you don't need to sort of, even you are not getting distracted, and you recognize this beautiful balance. You allow the experience to happen, you are not interfering. You become a mere witness. Same thing possible with thoughts. There are thoughts, but you are not the thoughts, you are not the thinking, but they are mere thoughts. So you can step back as we did it in the breath. So breath is there, and you are simply step back and you allow the body to naturally breathe, and you can simply observe. Same way, you allow thoughts to happen and you are maintaining kind of a distance, and you can simply observe that as well. Say, a thought of ill will happen, thought of jealousy happen, maybe lustful thought happen, greedy thought happen. They are mere thoughts. They have the nature to arise, they have the nature to pass away, and you are not being very much like influenced by them. You can simply watch them. You can simply witness, like as we did it in the Kayanupassana. So this is the technique, and it may take little time for you to come to this kind of a balance, because the thoughts are very tricky. So it's more tempting, and even though you are trying to observe them, there could be an instance that you naturally, automatically get absorbed or get tangled in this thinking. So that's an issue. That's why typically we are not recommending immediately get into the Chittanupassana. Rather, you develop fair amount of skills through Kayanupassana, maybe mindfulness, maybe fair amount of concentration, and you are having certain clear comprehension. You can precisely recognize various subtle phenomena. That is what we call as the clear comprehension. And when that skill is available, then you can slowly try Chittanupassana and let it also happen naturally. Say, for example, you are practicing walking meditation, for example. And while walking, say, you did the Kayanupassana level around half an hour, and naturally assume that there is a little bit of a distracting thought. But you are able to notice it. Okay, there is a sound happen. Now the mind has gone to that sound and start thinking about it. And now you are able to pick that. You are able to notice the behavior of the mind. And as a result of your observation, probably mind returns back to the step. And you might even notice that the recent thought appeared, and probably you are connecting another thought to it. And now you are stepping out of it, you are not participating, you are not getting tangled. As a result of that, the arising thought has now disappearing, it's kind of fading away, become blurred like. And you are able to observe that whole activity happening inside the mind. So that is where we are now have the capacity to observe the mind as well. So it will happen naturally. So don't force yourself to do Chittanupassana. Rather, you continue the path in Kayanupassana. And as we develop the necessary skills, it will naturally shift to the Chittanupassana.
Can I ask a question
sure.
on that?
Yeah.
So in Chitta, when you are saying, Bhante, that you observe the thought, we don't try to contemplate on it, no?
Contemplate, what do you mean by contemplate?
Like it's a good thought, it's a bad thought, labeling like?
Yeah, that is also one technique. So there is such technique also. So you can categorize them as this is a wholesome thought, this is an unwholesome thought, this is a lustful thought, this is a thought of ill will. You can label them also. That is one possibility, one technique. By labeling, we are not being a victim of that thought. Rather, we can simply recognize it. Okay, this is this kind of a guy. This is another type of a guy. So, but later, there may be instances, like we just discussed now, say different types of feelings are there. But later there is a stage you can't really give it a tone. You can't say it is a pleasurable or it's a painful, but it's a mere feeling. Same thing might happen in thinking also, the thoughts also. There are thoughts, but they quickly pass away, and it doesn't have enough time for you to categorize. Okay, this is a lustful or painful or whatever. You can't even name it, but you know that there is a little activity in the mind. Certain thoughts are coming and going, but you can simply watch them. And at that time, you don't need to say wholesome or unwholesome, good or bad. No need. You can simply observe. Yeah.
Same report. This is my observation on the thoughts and walking. When doing walking meditation, I have not been able to do walking meditation for a while, except very short distance.
Sorry. One moment. Right, go ahead. Can you start from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my observation. When doing walking meditation, I have not been able to do walking meditation for a while, except very short distances due to having osteoarthritis. But today, on the sand walking paths, I did nearly 45 minutes. I sat in between for a short breaks, observing my posture. I found I was focused on 3 movements of walking, stopping and turning. very well, but in between my thoughts ran quite wildly till I realized and brought it back to the walking. It was okay. After a while I found my left shoulder and neck arm were paining a bit, so I decided to sit and observe the posture. That was very good. When I walked for the second half, the pain had left and I was comfortable. I thought to myself that it was okay when my thoughts started running, because I felt it was a long time since I did it and I was conscious of my 3 movements mentioned above. I hope this is okay, Bhante.
I also feel it's fine. If you are recovering or if you have certain kind of an ailment, but still you can walk and observe. There may be certain painful feelings, but if you are without having any kind of a resistance, maintaining certain amount of a equilibrium in your mind, if you are able to observe these painful feelings, it is beneficial, no problem. So it is basically the mentality, in the sense that you are not trying to get rid of the thoughts, or rather get rid of these painful feelings, and you are not unnecessarily adding, saying, okay, why this pain and why I am suffering. So that is where we are adding some psychological suffering into the mere physical suffering. If you are capable of keeping the physical suffering or physical pain just to mere physical pain, that's it. You can simply observe it. But what happens is, when physical pain happens, we additionally add our own mind-made or self-created type of suffering. So that is the part we need to avoid. So if we are maintaining a fairly kind of a balanced mindset, then painful feelings are arising, but you can simply watch them. So this is exactly what Buddha mentioned in the Salla Sutta. So in the Salla Sutta, Buddha's teaching is, now there are, say, painful feelings of the body, but the one who is not much into the practice, he adds this psychological suffering also. He is saying, okay, why it's happened to me, and I am so poor, I am really suffering, and others are really blissful, I am always suffering, why it happened to me. So always that I-making is there, mind-making is there. So you are kind of inserting some sort of a personal perspective into the picture. But later, if you are into the practice, then you have the capacity, just keep the physical pain as physical pain. So don't try to get burned from it, and just observe the physical pain as mere physical pain.
Question number 5. Recently I listened to a Dhamma talk which was on Vimuktayatana Sutra, in which it was told that meditation was one of the 5 ways of attaining enlightenment. I feel that lots of emphasis is given to formal meditation practice. Can there be people who are more prone to other ways of reaching the ultimate goal? My mind becomes very clear and concentrated when I listen to deep Dhamma and when in contemplation. Hence the above query.
Yeah. So this, actually we discussed this several times at Kalalgoda. So this Vimuktayatana Sutta explained 5 possibilities, how the non-grasping of the mind can happen. It may be while meditating, it may be while listening to Dhamma, it may be while preaching Dhamma, it may be while reciting Dhamma, and again it may be while contemplating Dhamma. So all 5 possibilities are possible, no harm. So practice all. So don't just meditate, you need to listen to Dhamma, you need to read Dhamma, you need to contemplate Dhamma, and if possible you can teach Dhamma also. So no harm, there is no any restriction, because we are working on the Dhamma, we are working on the Dhamma Patipada, in the Dhamma path. All these possibilities are there, and the thing is, why we emphasize meditation today is basically the environment what we live in is fairly corruptive in a way, in the sense that our minds easily get corrupted, easily get agitated, easily get defiled as a result of what we see, what we hear, and all that. The sense impingements are in such a way, the society is in such a way, fairly agitating the mind, stimulating the mind. So there is no option, we have to go through it. Now say for example, if you are living in King Dutugamnu's time, not much meditation may be necessary, I don't think. Because if you are walking, there is no any loudspeakers and that music and the YouTube and WhatsApp, and none was there. Nothing was there, and you are able to maintain the calmness, the clarity, and fairly, that the environment is soothing and the nature is there. So really a fairly conducive environment is there. But nowadays we are in a very vulnerable type of a situation. Even though we call it as kind of a technological advancement, so we are using it to agitate the mind. So we are being constantly distracted. So we are more into the outwards attention, not inward. So that's why we need to change it a little. So rather than allowing the mind to distract outward, now again and again we need to collect the mind, come back to ourselves, establish mindfulness, start a kind of an inward journey. So that is why we need a fair amount of practice. So in such sense, more than those days, nowadays meditation has become kind of a must, because otherwise very difficult to bring our attention to the body, bring our attention to the mind, clearly see what is going on in the mind, because mind is not trained like that. And how we are being developed, how we being brought up, basically distract the mind, and we have lost our capacity to collect the mind, we have lost the calmness, tranquility, all these necessary qualities, skills are being lost. We need to regain those capacities. And once those capacities are available, then probably, as we just discussed, you feel, okay, now the clarity is available. Now I can quickly calm down the mind. I can quickly tranquilize the mind. Whenever necessary, I can talk, I can think, but whenever necessary, I can make the mind quiet. So if you are having that capacity, then you can say, okay, now formal hours of meditation might not be necessary. Fully agreed. Hours of meditation might not be necessary because what we already achieved is fairly a considerable amount of development, and now the meditation is very much like more into the prajna, more into the wisdom side. How to maintain the mind in that emptiness, very calm, very quiet, tranquility. And while being there, you need to notice very subtle defilements. Still the defilements can arise. Because, we don't need to overestimate thinking, now I am an arhat. Rather, you need to say, okay, now I found the path, now it's quite comfortable. I can look at what's going on in the mind easily, unlike before. Now I can recognize thoughts are appearing, emotions are appearing, my own imaginations are appearing, my assumptions are appearing, all that you can easily notice. Now you are in a fairly comfortable situation to recognize what's really going on. Avoid any kind of, compulsive behaviors, any being a victim to various kind of that capacity. Mind has that capacity now, and even a thought arises, you can simply notice it, and you are not being tangled in the thought. You are not driven by the thought. Other thoughts naturally fade away. So that indicates that there are amount of already certain amount of inner strength being available to you. Now it is not formally spending long hours of sitting. That is also not necessary now. Now more into the Vipassana, in the sense more into the practical kind of a Vipassana.
Question number 6. Dear Bhante, sitting. I was kept focused on nostrils. New suggestions came to my mind, but still I am able to focus on my primary object, nostrils. Then I started looking at the starting point, end point, on the inhale and exhale. Then I noticed my mind focus was sharp. Once I had a leg surgery as well. Also, I am able to focus on starting and ending point of the breath with great difficulty, but it works. Walking. First I keep focus as left-right. I am able to walk very slowly and keep focus as lifting, moving, placing. I notice my focus increases, then I contemplate. Lifting means low amount of air, then placing, and this body moves because of thought that I want to walk forward. Day to day, felt the roughness of the rocks, able to drink tea, tasting and keeping focus on the hot nature, carried away by lots of thoughts.
Mm-hmm. No problem. I mean, certain observations are there, valid observations. Now, most of our activities are being triggered by an intention, and you are basically was able to recognize that. It's a kind of an improvement. Just continue the path, continue the practice, and you are in the correct track.
Question number 7. I am keen to increase the time duration per meditation session for sitting meditation beyond the current 15 minutes. But the shoulder neck pain or stiffness is an obstacle here. Per meditation session, what is the time duration you recommend to be in deep focus, that is samadhi, for both sitting and walking meditation?
It depends actually. It's not at the beginning, no harm. You can sit longer, you can walk longer. There is no much harm because still we are learning. And it's difficult also because the body doesn't support much. So that's why, usually every month we have a yoga session here just to train the body to develop the flexibility. But this time it was not available. Anyway, so with time you develop this skill to sit longer. Assume now you are able to sit for 15 minutes comfortably. No harm. You just sit comfortably for 15 minutes. And later, if you feel, okay, there's a huge pain arising and unbearable, and slowly change the posture. You don't need to go through a really hard time by not changing the posture and bearing it and fighting against it. So that is not the approach. You slowly, mindfully change the posture, allow that burning, painful feeling to disappear, and again you continue the path, continue the practice. So likewise, at first, there may be several changing of postures during your practice, but later you may be able to enhance it. You don't need to change the posture several times. You can probably come to a level, even about 1 hour, you can sit without much changing of the posture. So likewise, you can stretch the capacity. It will happen naturally over time. So don't rush also, and have a little bit of flexibility and have a little compassion also, and just continue.
Question number 8, sitting meditation. There are days that I can stay without being distracted for 30 to 40 minutes. But some days I can't focus for more than 5 to 10 breaths. The more I try to force it, more frustrated I become on days like that. Is there a solution for this?
Just trying to sit and to emphasize the mind to be mindful and be comfortable and be in samadhi, so that doesn't work. Because there are maybe days that you are being frustrated and things have happened, many incidents, many arguments, and kind of ups and downs are there in the life. At that time, better, rather than going for sitting, better go for walking. Just if possible, go outside and be in the garden and just walk in the garden, because there's a healing quality in the garden, with the trees, for example. So if you are able to sit under a tree and walk under a tree and you simply have that kind of a connectivity with the environment, that's also a very good healing mechanism, and all the stress may be reduced and you are calming down and you are coming back to yourself, and then do further walking and further calming down, and next you can come to the sitting. So immediately trying to concentrate the mind by sitting is not going to work. There may be a possibility on certain occasions that also work, but not every time. Now, say for example, there may be a day where you are maintaining the composed nature of you and there are no many kind of disturbance. Mind also is fairly calm and no much disturbing incidents happen throughout the day. Then definitely you may be even successful immediately going to the sitting. But most of the time that is not the case. There may be various reasons for the mind to get agitated. So better go for walking and relax yourself, release all the stresses to the outside, and then come back and sit. Mostly the method may work. And again, as we already did, so don't immediately try to pay attention to the breathing even when you are sitting. Just allow it to naturally concentrate. So recognize how the body being positioned and where the sensations are available, various touching points, where the clothes are touching. So likewise, gradually you are improving the body awareness, ultimately ending up maybe with the breathing.
Second part to that, I have read in a book about a state that can be achieved by
breaths, 50 breaths, 100 breaths. So you can see the improvement. And later, now you are putting certain amount of clear comprehension, investigation into the picture. So from which nostril it is going in and from which nostril it is coming out, and where is it touching, and compared to both, which one is warm, which one is cool. So likewise, we are introducing more detail, trying to get more detail, and then the beginning, the middle, end of in-breath, etc. So that indicates certain improvement, not only mindfulness, not only say samadhi, concentration, even the investigation part. As you continue, interestingly, so detail become less and less. At first it become more and more. At a given threshold, it start turning the other side. Now you lose detail, and ultimately the breathing become very, very subtle, and ultimately it can even disappear, and you need to facilitate that process. Then we can say, okay, passambayang kaya sankharang, and you are tranquilizing the breath body. So breathing become almost like disappeared, and almost like you are not breathing, but still you are not sleeping. Not breathing as well as you are not sleeping. Hope now you are also not sleeping, right? I am sure that you all are breathing. So you need to make sure that when it happens, you are not sleeping. Because high possibility that when the breath disappears, you might fall asleep. Because it's a very soothing experience. There is no much activity in the body and the mind. Everything's tranquilizing, but you need to be fully awake. So you will achieve that as you are continuing the Anapanasati meditation. That is the fourth stage in the Anapanasati.
Question number 9. Dear Bhante, when we continue doing walking meditation or sitting meditation, I do realize the so-called I is made of Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnanaya. The ability to focus the mind or being mindful does help daily living, be a serene person. Beyond this, in the Lokottara sense, do we just continue with the practice, that is getting up at 4 a.m. doing walking meditation for half hour and sitting another 30 minutes to 1 hour?
I'm a bit confused now. You are trying to say now in the Laukika side and then in the Lokottara side. Am I correct? So even in the Laukika side, okay, I better maintain the schedule. Once I shifted to the Lokottara side, am I need to maintain the same thing? Is this kind of a question?
Like, do we need to get up at 4 every time to have a
Lokottara? So that's the interesting thing. So how you decide that now you are in the Lokottara side? It could be a overestimation. That's we need to be a little careful. But as we already discussed, so the skills are being developed naturally, gradually, and with that you can see, is it really necessary to rigidly practice, so strenuously practice? At first it's very much like kind of a strenuous practice, because still the defilement power is so intense. There is a huge amount of say hindrances in the mind, so you have to crash them and you have to go through them. You need a lot of effort. Certain amount of power is necessary, fair amount of dedication is necessary. You may have to get up early, you need to practice, you need to force yourself, and mind may quarrel, telling, okay, I can't do it, I can't get up, and all the excuses might come, and you have to go through it at that stage. Definitely yes, this is a must. But later, slowly you are developing the spiritual qualities, the skills. Now you see, okay, mindfulness is available. Now easily I am capable of, say, concentrating the mind. I can consistently watch breathing for several, say 100 breaths, 200 breaths. Now even the happiness is happening through the meditation. You feel joyful while meditating, and sometimes you feel like floating. So that indicates the improvement, indicates that more than mindfulness, now you have the access to concentration. Later, when you have that capacity, definitely you need to put more attention to investigation, to the Vipassana. Okay, don't just be happy with that calm, serene state. Rather, you need to start investigating what's really going on, how these thoughts are arising, how their feelings are arising, how their sensations are arising. So you are more into investigation. That is the one we are adding fair amount of wisdom to the practice. As we are now building up, now the moral support is also there, and we may be participating in retreats, you are gaining certain understanding through that as well, and participating in a discussion, you are gaining something further, and you are developing fair amount of clarity in the mind, and at the same time you are developing wisdom. Now all that are contributing to the practice, and later you come to a situation, okay, now I don't need to really struggle. From the moment I get up, I have a kind of a natural mindfulness available to me. So you may come to that level. At first, you are continuously forgetting to be mindful. That's why you need a wishful, deliberate, purposeful paying attention to something to be mindful, to establish mindfulness. But now it is not like that. You are naturally mindful. Mindfulness is available. It has become kind of a birthright now. It's available. And it's also not strenuous. It's very soft, very relaxed kind of a mindfulness. And you might even notice, okay, I don't have a particular thing to be mindful, still I am mindful. There is no any particular incident or phenomena to be mindful. Mind is fairly spacious, very calm, very quiet, and no defilements. I am happy, kind of contented, and again mindful. At that moment you can say, okay, no need to have a strenuous practice. Because the kind of practice is ongoing. Your life become a type of a practice. It is not that you practice in the morning and then forget it. Rather, from the morning to the end, it's a type of practice. Yeah, wherever you go, whatever you do, you are with your mind, you have the presence of the mind, you understand what's really going on, what are the subtle defilements arising, when I was tangled in it. So all these are happening under your supervision, very much like. So at that time, definitely not, you don't need to struggle, you don't need to strive, rather allow things to happen in a more natural way. Allow things to naturally unfold rather than you interfere as a person. So the mind will take care of the path and you simply become a kind of a witnessing the whole path.
Question number 10. More like for walking, I think, Bhante. Is it necessary to think of what I observe in terms of the elements? Example, when I feel the hardness of the sand, should I realize it as patavi, etc.?
Not necessary. I mean, if it is naturally coming, no harm. Now, say for example, you feel hardness and you forget, okay, hardness belongs to patavi or tejo. You are now trying to recall. That is unnecessary. That's additional burden to the mind. I mean, categorizing, giving a name is not the point. That can become a burden to the mind. So names are mere given to communicate, just to explain. But during the meditation, you don't even need to add a label, but try to recognize what's really going on without even a label. No harm.
Question number 11. Is the state of samadhi achieved by a variant of self-hypnosis? First part.
May be possible, but hypnotism may be a different subject. I can't say it is the kind of a meditation that we are talking. Hypnotism may be a guided influence kind of a samadhi. Not a naturally developed spiritual qualities achieving kind of a samadhi. So the samadhi that we are talking is not a hypnotized type of a samadhi. So you don't need to sort of get confused there. So the samadhi what we are talking, one important aspect is you have fair amount of control. Control in the sense the presence of the mind is very much like a available quality. You are not driven by someone else. You are not a kind of a puppet of someone else's orders, like in the typical hypnotism. But here you are the ones, your own sort of a master, and you know what you are doing, and you know how the mind is growing, and how the kind of the qualities of the samadhi is available to you, and you are experiencing it. And there are instances that if you get absorbed to the sort of a samadhi, and probably you might lose the capacity to come out of it immediately. If it is a fairly powerful, strong absorption, till the power of the absorption is available, you don't still have the capacity to come out of it. So once it naturally loosens, then you maybe naturally come out of it. Emerging happens after a while, you still don't have the capacity to quickly manage it. So that is where a certain thing called the mastering of samadhi, what we call jhana vasita. So jhana vasita, the mastering of samadhi, mastering of jhana, is another separate subject mentioned in the Dhamma, where, say, if you are into that kind of a samatha practice, there are kind of a separate skill you need to develop, how quickly you can enter the samadhi, how quickly you can enter any kind of samadhi, and how aware that you can maintain that samadhi for the decided time, determined time period. So you should be able to determine the period of time. You are not jumping or in a abrupt way you are coming out of it. Rather, you are able to decide how long I want to be there. You precisely stay there, and then once that period is over, you are emerging from that. So these are very difficult tasks. Don't think that these are easy things. Mastering of jhana is a separate subject. It's a kind of a lifetime job. But hypnotism is entirely different thing. Another certain person is guiding you. He is taking you in a kind of a psychological journey, and when he has done that, and he give a kind of a signal, and you come out of it.
In samadhi, does one dwell in it and be at peace, or is there guidance on insight further into that state?
So different types of samadhis are there, and just being in the samadhi is one type of practice where you can simply enjoy it, and it's a kind of an enjoyment. Ditta Dhamma Sukha Viharana. So in this very life you have another type of a happiness. Now we typically know the happiness that we derive from the senses by looking various sights, smelling, sounds, tastes, tangibles. You can derive certain happiness, but dwelling in a very blissful samadhi is another type of happiness, more a kind of a spiritual happiness. But what Buddha emphasizes is not exactly that, by the way. That is also possible, that is also available, but his destination is not that. His destination is more into the Vipassana, in a sense, the development of the understanding. So how things are happening, what is the true nature of things. You are trying to understand what's really going on, what is the true nature of the phenomena. So that is, even for that you need certain amount of samadhi and the clarity of the mind. So less distractions, and fairly you can maintain your attention for a particular phenomena till it exists, something like that. Fair amount of attention is required, samadhi is required, just to observe these different phenomena continuously. And so the samadhi has become a one factor of the Vipassana, then, a kind of prerequisite for your Vipassana practice. It is not the end product, rather it's a requisite of the continued development of the wisdom. Yeah.
Last question, question number 12. Thank you, Bhante, for last evening's discussion on sunyata, nothingness, emptiness. Yes, in deep meditation, the fly on one's arm seems a long way away, does not bother one as it may otherwise. Noticing this, I thought of the Vietnamese monk Thich Khong, whose self immolated sitting in meditation on a busy street in 1963 protesting the US occupation of Vietnam, a lotus in a sea of fire. Was he an arahat?
That may be different monk. Yeah, different monk. Mm-hmm.
So he wants to know, was he an arahant?
I don't know. Okay, that's it, right? So those are the questions and reports we have received. Anyone has any question, we can spend few more minutes. Otherwise, we can wind up. Yeah, please come forward.
Avasarani Bhante, there was a question on thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing walking meditation or sitting, the thoughts I see as a distraction.
Uh-huh.
So I was confused.
Yeah. At first it appears like a distraction. Now say for example, your focus is more into the body and bodily phenomena, maybe breathing and all this kind of bodily process. Then thought appear like a type of a distraction. But later you learn how even to use that as a meditation object or as a raw material for your meditation. At that time it is not a distraction. Say for example in Vipassana, and you need certain kind of a thought for you to understand how they are behaving and how they are rising and how I am being tangled or I am connecting my own imaginations. I impose certain likes and dislikes. So they become type of a raw material for the practice. Then we can't say they are really distractions. So they are part of the practice then. So the terminology depends on where you are.
So for example today and even
right.
yesterday,
Uh-huh.
there were so many thoughts just going on.
Right.
When I couldn't do anything about it, so
Mm-hmm.
it comes and I wait for it to go and then I go back to my meditation object for a bit, and there were so many thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing specific, like there were no feelings involved. It wasn't anything that agitated me or made me happy or whatever it was.
So what we are trying to tell is there was no specific reason for these many thoughts to happen?
I couldn't see any.
You can see.
Yes.
But still the many thoughts happen, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
it was not specifically some event I recognized or
Right.
something, but a little like some,
Okay.
half a
So at that time, what were you doing?
happened while I was doing seated meditation,
Right.
as well as even walking meditation. But
Right.
walking meditation, it was more related to something
Activity.
that
Okay.
I could relate to. But in both times, twice I know the thoughts went on for a long time before I kind of got out of it. Otherwise, it just came and part.
Okay,
like a
let
short
it happen.
clip or something.
Don't try to suppress it. So let it happen. There are instances that sometimes as we progress, when the mind settles, there are overflowing of thoughts can happen, kind of rushing of thoughts can happen. So you shouldn't suppress that. You don't need to stop that. You allow it to happen. You simply step out of it and let it happen. Then once it happens, then you feel more healed, like you feel more relaxed. Because it may be a kind of a psychological something, a kind of a traumatic incident or something related to something. It may be hidden or kind of suppressed in the mind. So once the opening is available in the mind, as a result of the practice now, we are preparing the causes. We are making a conducive environment for that to heal. So how it heals is by coming out of it, like say a wound. The oozing happens. So once that is come out, then it properly heals, something like that.
So I shouldn't try to look at it either.
At that time, you might not be able to even recognize them. There's a rapid flow of thoughts maybe. So then might be difficult to recognize. So let it happen, but you simply step back and simply watch. you can't distinctly know what's really going on, what are the thoughts happening. It's a rapid succession of many thoughts. Let it happen, and then slowly it go away, and again things calm down. Yeah. Yeah.
Avsarai Bhante, with your permission.
Yeah.
My main kamatahan is Dhatu Manasikara.
Right.
And I experience stillness as well while walking, sitting, and day-to-day activities as well.
Right.
But for the last several months, I have been experiencing, not every day, mind becomes very restless, especially towards the early morning. While I'm sleeping, I'm awaking to the restless mind.
Right.
So I can't exactly. There are different types of the things, greediness, anger, and all are there. But most of the time it goes on and I can't sleep. So
So once you notice it, gradually decide, calm down.
It goes on. So sometimes when I cannot, I get up and start walking meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It generally gives me a bit of a sort of less, the mind becomes little less restless.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to avoid that, I did some metta meditation and all, but nothing seems like working.
So have you properly had a very healthy sleeping session? No, sleeping also get disturbed?
No, I have been having a normal session, yes, about sleeping about 5, 6, 7 hours.
I mean, there was no any disturbance there?
No.
Okay.
No.
So in general, you feel you have any kind of responsibilities and many tasks to achieve and many things in the to-do list as we discussed in the morning. So are there any such kind of burden to the mind?
Not at the moment, but I have been having all those problems now. Those are over now. I'm old and all. So then I have.
Because for the mind to become restless. So all these too many activities, too many tasks, too many responsibilities is one reason.
Okay.
But if you are able to somehow handle them and tackle them and finish them, then it's quite a big release. Then mind also enjoy that freedom. Okay, I have done that. Nothing much to do. My goodness! At last, I am done. Then you come to that relaxation. And you start enjoying that, you start appreciating that. So at that time, we shouldn't add another task, rather give some time for you to settle. So I feel right now, how is the situation? Now you are staying here to yesterday night?
No. I go home and come back.
Okay. Today morning, what's the experience?
I'm okay throughout. I'm enjoying your talks and meditation and all.
Right.
But restless was not there. So I'm always, most of the time, with that stillness.
Right.
So I'm.
Then okay.
Yes.
Because
in the walking meditation, I am always with that boundless like space.
Right.
So, but this problem, I have a bit of a aversion towards it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
how to get rid of that one?
No, rather than trying to get rid of it, even that has to be a state to observe. There's another state, that restlessness or agitated mind or even the lustful state of the mind, angry state of the mind. It's another conditioned phenomena. So we shouldn't have a kind of a hateful attitude towards it. So how can I step back and see that too will pass? So, it's also a conditioned thing. So, due to that's what I was asking, what are the causes? Say, is there any family issue? Is there any too much of work responsibilities and all that, this and that? And those may be contributing towards the restlessness. Or else maybe the sleeping disturbances. It also can contribute towards the restlessness. All that, due to certain reasons, they may arise. But once you get to know that, okay, simply observe it. Be patient with it. And slowly it will fade away. And sometimes you can take certain actions, like say for example, while being in the bed, if you feel okay, mind is restless, you better come out and get up from the bed, and you can go outside and simply look at the stars and if it is still in the night, you can simply come out. And so basically connecting with the environment and opening up may be much better than trying to restraining and constraining and trying to forcefully calm down the mind. Because sometimes it may work, but most of the time forceful restraining the mind might not work. So better opening up, come to the outside and release the stress and just walk here again and again from this end to the other end, and just then slowly you might feel, okay, now the relaxation is happening. Yawning might happen, a relaxation can happen. So again, now the mind settles. Yeah.
Much merit.
Yeah, okay.
Bande, we can't try that 5 methods of in the Vipassana Sutra for situation like that? This?
Can try, but I felt this stage a bit different, because typically when you get up from in the morning, typically mind is calm. That's a usual situation. But when you get up in the mind, that also appear like kind of a restless. It's something different like. That's what I felt, okay. Recognizing this as one type of a vitakka and try to displace that using another type of vitakka. This may be happening because of our interaction with the outside world, when we are in a way that we are interacting with the world during the daytime maybe. But this is a little bit different, like I feel.
I have 3 questions.
Uh-huh. Yeah, go ahead.
My first question is like, how do you know whether you have actually reached a jhanic level? Because it's supposed to be like absorption and tranquility, but in normal meditation you feel that tranquility anyhow, right?
Yeah. I mean, jhana can be recognized. I mean, there are jhanic factors explained, and each and every jhana very well explain what are the necessary skill or the quality available, and that is well explained. And if the person himself can't understand, then you can explain it to a teacher, and then with some knowledge he can say, okay, it's appear like this first jhana, appear like second jhana, something like that. But later, as you are familiar with that particular jhana, and with that instruction, with that information, you yourself can do an inner reflection. So is this particular jhanic factor available? Is this particular jhanic factor available? So likewise, you can do a very quick reflection into the mind to recognize these jhana factors. There are 5 jhana factors.
You mean as you meditate or after?
Yeah, that's the thing. So initially doing it is harmful. So when you are just beginning to enter the jhana, if you start trying to recognize which jhana it is, it's really harmful. Harmful in the sense it's disturbing to the jhana, because you are just a novice and you are simply starting to experience it. And it's better experience it as much as possible. Be familiar with it. Okay, again you go there, again you experience, again you go there, again you experience, and then it becomes a kind of a familiar experience for you. Later you can do a little bit of investigation whether this particular quality is there, this particular quality is there. Depending on those qualities, those factors, you can decide, okay, it could be this.
Yeah, my second question is like, is it advisable to first focus on concentration meditation, like developing concentration and then going to Vipassana, or can you do both together?
Various approaches are there. So I prefer to guide both in the sense. So rather than purely practicing samatha and then step into vipassana, better take both approach hand in hand. Then you are more equipped. You are more talented in the sense you are more safe in a way. Because there is a risk if you are practicing pure samatha for a long period of time, not knowing much about vipassana. Because then you are running a type of a risk, because mind can be fairly uplifted and you don't have much capacity to handle the day-to-day disturbances, and in case your mind inclined towards a type of a defilement, it goes rushing away to that side and you don't know how to come out of it. And certain life situations are there, it's really disturbing, you don't know how to handle it, because the samatha meditation makes the mind kind of vulnerable in one sense. So therefore, typically I don't like to advocate mere samatha, rather than better take both.
My third question is you said that it's advisable to listen to music and watch TV, just don't get don't be too absorbed in the meditation, right?
Did I mention?
Yesterday you said that you should not be totally committed to meditation.
I didn't say like that.
You didn't say that?
That's how you understood it maybe then.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering how do monks do it? What kind of
so that's why we have a chanting period. So you can chant it in a melodious way and you can enjoy that. So basically it's a kind of a balance in a way. So I didn't particularly mention, you forget about meditation and listen to music.
No, you said don't be totally committed, right?
Not totally committed.
Sometimes it's good to listen to music because it's not good to all.
True. That's what I think probably you are referring that Ogatarana Sutta, where a little bit of the thing is sometimes people taking a kind of an extreme. Okay, I am not participating any party. I am not looking at any news. I am not even touching the phone. And I am not listening to any music. So likewise, they come to a kind of another extreme. Still, it's unbearable to the mind sometimes, because we are human bodies and we are humans basically, and you can't. Even though it is better to do the sense restraint is necessary, but you need to do it in a gradual way, without making it a big psychological impact. So you have to introduce even a good thing in a better way. Assume that you are addicted to something. Say, assume that a child is addicted to video games. And if you completely cut off the whole thing and you forbid him even looking at the TV and using the phone and everything cut off in one shot, it's unbearable sometimes. You have to do it in a systematic way, slowly, mindfully, and then you may be able to overcome that. That's why rigid very rigid restrainment, instead of very rigid restrainment, you still doing kind of a restrainment, but at the same time you are giving some understanding through the wisdom, and there are other options to be happy, and you have those other alternatives. So likewise, many different ways that we better introduce, take that person to the better path, to the correct path.
I was thinking of joining the monastery. Now you say don't do it.
You join the monastery. So let the time decide that. So rather than you immediately jump to a decision, let the time decide that. You come to the Kalalgoda.
But how do you do the entertainment? What
entertainment
as a monk?
So basically, being a monk, you are basically cut off from the typical entertainment. So you are not having the TV and all this drama and music and all that. So there are, that is where we need to, before becoming a monk, if you have certain amount of spiritual type of happiness and these kind of things, then you have certain alternative avenues available for you to be happy. But otherwise it becomes a very dry path. Everything is restricted, everything is prohibited, and no way to be happy, and you feel like lost, isn't it? So it's kind of a dry land, barren land like. But certain other avenues are there, more like say helping another person and studying and listening and say chanting and kind of collective work and learning the Dhamma, and all these things also giving certain kind of a satisfaction. And as you continue, it becomes kind of a normal thing. And coming to Kalalgoda, and type of an enjoyment. No, thing is, now sometimes what happens is, at first we think for us to be happy, we need strongly stimulate our senses, right? So this is what we think. But later you understand even the wind, when it is blowing, it can be a reason to be happy. Even a little person is laughing, you still can be happy. When someone else is succeeding, you still can be happy. And even birds chirping, it can be a reason to be happy. So likewise, the reason to be glad become, not very intense kind of a stimulation required. Even a little thing, even an environmental little thing can be a reason to be happy. So this is a very interesting phenomena that one meditation master, I think, what's his name? One Indian fellow, Vivekananda, someone, I can't remember the name. So one person was interviewing him. Okay, one person was interviewing him, and he become a really master in this meditation. And then that person was asking whoever master, how you really get happiness through meditation. So rather than he giving very sophisticated, very philosophical answer, he simply say, while I am walking, there may be a little wild flower, but still by looking at it, I can be happy. It's a different way of looking at things. Now say for example, you have a little tree, every day you see at your home, no happiness at all. Because it's just a tree, no? But there may be a day that you wake up and your mind is quite positive, and even this little ordinary sight can be a reason to be happy. Because it is not that really the outside object make you happy, rather your inside capacity is making you to be happy. Even little thing is enough for you to be happy, something like that. So things are changing. So just step into it, and you may see kind of a inner change is happening. Okay, so we'll wind up here, and thank you very much for attention.